The case against the two men linked to the murders of Kiernan AKA Forbes and Tebello Tibz Motsoane has been postponed to next Wednesday to allow a formal extradition application from the NPA. Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande have appeared for the third time before the Manzini Magistrate's Court in Eswatini. They were arrested on the 27th of February and charged with 4 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder as well as attempted murder. Let's now speak to NhlanhlaJele, SABC News reporter, on the very latest. Nhlanhla, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I mean, what are the delays with this particular extradition application?
Good afternoon to you, Bongiwe, and to our viewers at home. Honestly, none of that is said as to what exactly the delays are, especially on the part of South Africa's NPA, as to why they have not yet formally made that application. But remember, the state prosecutor, did say in court that they have a 30-day period, so meaning until the 27th. So the application can be made from the 27th of February until the 27th of March. That's a month for them to make this application, to have the two brothers back in South Africa to face the charges that you counted on earlier on when you introduced the story. But just to take you back as to what happened in court, we saw the state prosecutor making submissions that they are asking for a postponement because, of course, South Africa has not yet filed the formal application. But also we saw him making up an application as well in court. Remember last week when the two brothers appeared, cell phones that were detained when they were arrested, an application was made. However, the defense opposed that application, saying proper procedures were not followed. Later on, it turns out in the same day that the state did furnish them with an affidavit that confirms that they detained these cell phones and want to take them and send them back to South Africa because they are part of the case here in South Africa. However, today, this morning, what happened is the state once again brought this matter up to have the cell phones rather detained formally. An application was made once again. However, the state did oppose the application, saying it's going to prejudice none of the state, and the defense is not going to be prejudiced if whether these cell phones are detained or not. Remember, they wanted the cell phones to be brought back to South Africa as part of evidence into the charges that they are facing back in South Africa. However, the magistrate did say that they're going to, for now, detain the cell phones provisionally until next week when the brothers appear back in court to go back into this issue again of saying why do they want the cell phones to be detained formally. Also remember, there is a provisional application that says the cell phones, Bongiwe, can be detained. We also heard the defense attorney Ungwenya saying to us that proper procedures are what is important for them, and in this instance proper procedures are not followed. Proper procedures are not followed through, for example, the issue of the affidavit. So those are some of the issues that we have seen in court this morning, where they tried to have a formal application made to detain the cell phones so that the cell phones can be sent back to South Africa. However, it was opposed by the defense attorney Siyabonga Bongiwe.
And Nhlanhla, then I wonder what was the reaction of the defense when they learned once again, as much as, South Africa is still within its, time when it comes to meeting the deadline of filing this extradition application. But what is the reaction from the response from the defense on this one? Because it does seem like there are some kind of inexplicable delays when one listens to what came out in court today.
We did ask Siyabonga, the defense attorney, as to how are these delays affecting them in terms of wrapping this whole thing up, this whole extradition process, to have his clients sent back to South Africa. And he did say to us, honestly, he's not worried about the delays. His only problem, what he's worried about rather, is the fact that the back and forth proper procedures are also not being followed. Remember, when they brought back this application of detaining the cell phones, the application was not made formally, affidavit was not filed. So he said to us the only concern that he has is that proper procedures are followed even when this submission is made. And also remember, Bongiwe, he also has prior knowledge before coming to court that the files have not been, the application rather has not been filed as yet. So it doesn't surprise him anymore when he comes to the court, because this morning, as soon as the state prosecutor made submissions to have a postponement on this matter, saying South Africa has not yet filed that extradition application, he too stood up and said they are not opposed opposed to the postponement. They know that they have also not been furnished with the formal application. And also remember, Bongiwe, what's important to note and understand is that they also have to go through this whole application process, the application that is going to be made by South Africa in this case, before they can come to court, speak with their clients, and then once they get to court, when this application is presented to the magistrate, then they can say we oppose the application or we don't oppose the application based on what we have found when we studied the application. And also he did say to us that as soon as they get this application from South Africa, they need to study it and then consult with these clients, in this case, which is Siyabonga and Malusi, as to whether or not they should continue or not continue. Remember, he also said that they have conditions that they are going to bring forward when this application is made. The issue of safety, for example, is one of the things that he kept on mentioning, to say that if they feel that the clients are not going to be safe as soon as this extradition application is made by South Africa, then they're going to oppose it. So those are some of the things that he's been saying to us on the side, and also in court, to say that he has also not been furnished with the formal application. If you can remember, sometime last week when we spoke to him, he did say he was expecting the application, meaning he also had to go through it before coming to the court. Bongiwe?
All right, Nhlanhla, thank you so much for that comprehensive update there. That's my colleague NhlanhlaJele.